Hi there, heroes! For today's adventure, the Orange Ranger will be taking you on a journey to side with love and an entire universe of new possibilities.
Hello there, heroes! I'm the Orange Ranger. If this is your first time seeing me, I am a YouTube content creator that reviews Power Rangers content and also plays video games. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Jake, Database Ranger, has brought together a group of us content creators to help highlight some wonderful organizations working hard to help the underprivileged and persecuted in this less than ideal day and age. I mean, when Dark Specter's in charge, you're gonna need more than a few Rangers, am I right? So each of us are highlighting an organization in our local area, though mine happens to be more of a national cause that I know about because there's one in my local area. And when I say there's one, that also leads me to a bit of an advisory because discussing this movement involves talking about a church. But don't worry, this is a church that is literally founded on absolute openness and acceptance of everyone. The Unitarian Universalist Association was founded in 1961 as a merging of two organizations representing similar faith systems, the American Unitarian Association and the Universalist Church of America. UU, as it's often called for shorthand, is a non-creedal religion, drawing from various faiths and philosophies. The closest thing to a unifying creed is their 7 principles: the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in their congregations, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, the right of conscience and the use of democratic process within their congregations and in society at large, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part.
The web of life and destiny.
Oh yeah, that's something that kind of happens around here every once in a while. It's usually pretty funny. At least I hope it is. I had a point I was trying to get to. Oh, right. At this point, you might be wondering if I'm just saying to support this church. Not exactly. For what it's worth, I'm not actually a member. So, let's get to what I'm actually telling you about today. The movement I'm drawing attention to started from an unbelievable tragedy. On July 27, 2008, a man named Jim David Atkinson walked into the Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church during a children's musical and started firing a shotgun. 2 people were killed during that shooting. Atkinson wrote in an intended suicide letter — he was captured by church members before being arrested and sentenced to life with no chance of parole — that he had targeted the UU Church because it, quote, is the fountainhead, the veritable wellspring of anti-American organizations, citing MoveOn.org and Code Pink as examples. He was upset the church was so dedicated to liberal values and especially so welcoming to gays and lesbians. After the shooting, the 2 area congregations stood firm on being welcoming, open congregations, and the greater organization wanted to spread a message to people with the UU suddenly thrust into the national spotlight. In June 2009, UUA President William G. Sinkford, in the final action of his term, introduced a campaign called Standing on the Side of Love. After Knoxville, I asked our media consultant, Fred Garcia, to help us imagine what a visibility campaign centered on what we stand for might look like. He went on to say that people are targeted every day because they are part of communities some deem okay to hate. They wanted to stand, publicly and actively, with those who were targets of violence, exclusion, or oppression. 7 years later, 2016, senior strategist Elizabeth Nugent and campaign manager Nora Rassman announced a rebranding. It was pointed out that standing on the side of love may have been a bit unintentionally ableist, so the campaign was renamed to its current name, now simply Side with Love. Unlike some other organizations that might be featured here, Side with Love isn't so much a singular cause, but an almost philosophy-like movement of social awareness, social justice, and education. They call themselves the Public Justice Arm and Organizing Strategy Team of the UU. Side with Love is like the tree trunk of the UU's efforts, and there are 4 main branches. The first is climate justice, working to help save the planet from climate change through a movement called Create Climate Justice. The second is democracy and electoral justice, defending the right to vote and supporting electoral movements that give or protect people's rights with a movement called UU the Vote. Third, decriminalization, working to improve racial and immigration justice. And finally, LGBTQIA+ and gender justice, fighting for reproductive rights such as abortion access and to protect the transgender community with a movement called Uplift Action. At Side with Love's website, sidewithlove.org, a weekly Action Center update is posted. These include major headlines in the arenas of social justice, as well as actions people can take, protests to attend, petitions to sign, etc. The site also has a guide called Grounded, Resilient, and Responsible, which they call a practical guide for navigating rising authoritarianism. Each month, the site also hosts a virtual event called The Gathering. With the aim of fortifying ourselves for the long road ahead, The Gathering focuses on spiritual grounding, political analysis, and collective action. There are a host of newsletters you can sign up for, keeping you informed of the latest issues on their radar. And yes, you can choose to donate to the cause directly. You are given the option to cover the processing fee so they receive your entire intended donation, and to make the donation a tribute.
This is a tribute.
In all honesty, this video can't serve as much more than an overview of everything Side with Love touches and works on. There is a quote on the Side with Love site that says, "There is no such thing as a single-issue struggle because we do not live single-issue lives," said by Audre Lorde, a black, lesbian, feminist, poet, mother, and civil rights activist. One of the coolest aspects of Side with Love is that you can really pick one of the issues that you're particularly passionate about and learn more about it and learn how to support it directly. This is one of those issues where you're going to have to kind of dig in a little bit and do some homework. I'd also say one more time to please not let any sort of aversion to the word church limit you in involvement with Side with Love. I've actually been to the UU in my town, not during or for a service. They were holding a market event that I was participating in. And just being inside the building, I could tell that they cater to a wide variety of faiths and are really accepting of everyone. UU is all about love and acceptance, and Side with Love is doing work to make sure that everyone can feel that. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of Let's Be Superheroes, and until then, may the power of love protect you.
So there you have it. If you'd like to learn more about Side with Love, you can check out their website at sidewithlove.org. And if you sign up for our Patreon, all proceeds for the month of July 2025 will go directly to Side with Love. Remember, the world can be a scary place, and that's why we need heroes. So until we meet again, let's all be superheroes, and I'll see you in the next adventure. Visit the Orange Ranger at his channels.